Hey, everybody. This Life in Tech, episode 95. I'm Jason.
And I'm Dan.
And I'm Ken.
Ken, why aren't you here?
I'm sorry, what?
Why aren't you here?
Well, I didn't get the invitation.
We didn't send him one?
He should, if he didn't took those stupid AirPods out of his ears, he'd have probably heard it.
You're just never going to stop, are you? I'm going to go buy some wired ones just purely for this show.
You should just get a little bit of sewing thread and like tie it on the ends and let it dangle down.
Yeah. You go get any deer yet?
It's not open for a couple more weeks.
What?
I'm not a bow shooter. So
right, you're
waiting until gun season. Yeah. They're pretty strict around here. Plus they do it by counties as well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So you have to, and since I go to another county, I have to wait.
I just thought maybe you were already doing it because of that bright ass orange jacket.
He is just a piece of work. You want to look at my underwear and my shoes while you're at it? I mean, you want to talk about those too?
Not your underwear, but what kind of shoes are you wearing?
Nikes.
Small minds think about things. Big minds think about ideas.
I'm just curious what kind of person Ken is. He's all about Nike.
Well, it's not as if he has any room to criticize you for that. Every time I get this guy into the session, the first thing he talks about is what's in the background of my office or what I'm wearing.
I'm a perceptive person.
Have you ever noticed that I never say anything like that to either of you? Because I don't care. You know why? Because I'm not a girl.
Well, yes, you're not female, but I'm not quite sure that has anything to do with it.
I don't care what you have to wear. I don't care what you have on or don't have on, as the case may be.
Maybe.
I just want to hear what you have to say.
I get you.
What do you have to say?
For the record,
so we just finished the election or the votes.
Did you vote
the other day? It wasn't for Marsha Blackburn, Miss Anti-Net Neutrality.
No, but my question was, did you vote?
Hell no.
What?
You understand, there's never going to be a Democrat voted in this state, ever.
And there never will be if nobody votes.
Yeah.
They were bragging. It was like 52% voter turnout. This is high. I'm like, I don't understand why people think that's a good thing, that it's at like half the country.
Right.
California was only 39%. That's really low.
And again, you want to make change. I mean, countries in Europe, they complain if it drops below 90%.
The sense of civic duty is much different. I voted early.
I voted as well.
I do jury duty. I do my civic duty. I never get picked, though. Always wanted to be on a trial. My brother got on a capital murder case in Oklahoma. Death sentence. Dead to rights.
In some European countries, they have professional juries. That's
Do they really?
Yeah, man. And they're trained in ethics and to be objective and evidentiary procedure. They're professionals about it.
I always thought it would be a good idea in this country for those that are shut in. Get them out of the house, train them in this stuff.
I think part of the problem we have is exactly what most people view jury duty to be, which is a burden. So do I really want my peers in misery judging me?
Well, I first hold an issue with the statement. I may only have 2 or 3 people I consider peers. Maybe. So
I said that one time in a jury selection process at jury duty. I told the judge that I didn't recognize his sovereign right to act as a judge.
Oh my God.
And I rejected his tyranny.
You were out at that point, weren't you?
It was deliberate. I wanted to see what would happen. Because it was kind of strange, man. I mean, where I was at in California at the time, there was a lot of people there. A lot of people. Like standing room only. And they were going one by one through everybody, man. I mean, just that took longer than anything else that day.
I bet.
And like dudes were like, I don't speak English. But you just said it in English. You said, I don't speak English in English. And the judge was like, yeah, get out of here. And I'm like, what's the craziest thing I could possibly come up with to see what happens? And that's what popped into my mind.
Great.
I've had several of my faculty have said the minute they said they were a doctor and a professor, they were like out.
Yeah.
They only want stupid people on juries.
Well, you're going to
don't care.
You're going to talk too much. And
yeah.
Anyway, man.
So I got something in the mail about potentially on jury duty, and I don't think I'll ever get selected either. Mainly because one of it was like, has any member of your family been a victim of a crime? Yes. Has any of your family members been convicted of a crime? Yes. Has any of your family members been in jail? Yes. It's all the same brother.
So they should. So in that view, they should really pick you because you have a plethora of knowledge.
Well, they would not want, because if you were a victim, if your family has been a victim of a crime, then you're going to be biased towards that. If you have a family member that's in jail, then you're going to be biased. So for this case, what they don't understand is that he deserves to be in jail, and he's almost basically a menace to society. But
well, for all of its flaws, man, our judiciary is pretty advanced.
Sure.
Yeah.
The thing that this is just one of the things I find, we'll say, somewhat irritating. I don't know why public defenders aren't paid well enough. They've got a tough job. Everyone deserves a fair trial. It doesn't mean you get necessarily the right to the same level of representation. But we know, going back in time now, when we look, that there are plenty of people who have been falsely accused and are doing time for things they did not do. And when they've been proven later, now they're able to go back and sue the government and have been awarded significant funds. So why not just pay these public defenders a decent wage?
Well, I think part of the problem is what we see in other areas of bureaucracy is it doesn't scale well to the size we're at. And so you get this breakdown in the system because it can't move as fast as it needs to serve that size of a population. I mean, just think about this, and I've said this before to you. I don't think you've been on the show, Ken, when I've said this. I've started to increasingly think that the fact that we have a president is absurd on principle. How does one person represent 350 million?
Well, they don't.
That's a good point.
But the
they don't.
It really isn't. I mean, you're talking about it essentially being the executive that has to either choose to go to war, or to sign legislation into law.
Right. Well, and so then would you agree it's a public misunderstanding of what that role ought to function as then?
Oh, sure.
Because that's not how popular culture views the presidency.
True. But then again, the popular culture probably hasn't even read the Constitution. Yeah. Well, or the Declaration of Independence.
And even if they had, they sure as hell ain't going to go vote. 52%, that's abysmal.
What's really funny, this is really sad. 33% of the doctors in this conversation did not vote.
Yeah. How about that?
No, it's a valid point.
Hey, and of all things, man, we had some really slick electronic voting where I voted.
Oh, you did? Did they give you a paper?
No.
And 100% of the doctors with stupid-ass AirPods didn't vote.
Man, so for the record, too, I wanted to say this earlier, but I forgot. I didn't have an invitation either. I got on a plane and I showed up. I said, hey, Dan, I'm here. I want to do some research at your place of business. Here I am doing research. But my point in that is I went through 3 airports and I saw a plethora of those little pods. And every time I see him, I think about this guy giving you shit. Like, to the point I thought to myself, especially going through an airport, that might be kind of handy to not have the cord, because I just carry a bag. I don't check a bag or anything like that, right? And every time you're getting up and down or you're getting on and off the plane, you put a bag on and it catches on the cord. And I'm like, man, I bet those AirPods are pretty handy that way. And I thought, Yeah, but you look like a dork.
Oh, now you're in it now.
Other ones that actually just go into the ears, which are I have them for when I go shooting. I just use those because they're still noise cancellation. They're super comfortable, but I don't take them when I travel because I'm worried I'm going to lose them.
Yeah. See, I just want the implant. Let's get it over with.
Yeah, true. I would do that too. I would.
See, but I mean, I spend 3 hours at the golf range. I don't have to worry about cable hitting me and everything. So it's just convenience for me. I mean, that's really, there's other things in life, like a smartwatch, I see completely useless for me. But there's a lot of my friends who find it to be very useful. Everybody's different.
I switched to Bluetooth when I cycle for that same reason, man. Even indoor on a trainer, a cord inevitably catches on something, man.
Yeah. And when it rips out your ear, it hurts.
Yeah, but I don't have AirPods for the record.
No, I don't.
I would go with the other ones that go. Jaybird has some pretty good ones.
Those wrap around.
No, I'm talking about the ones that just because you don't see the stupid white handles coming down.
Dude, you're not getting any deer meat this year. All right, just you need to stop while you were ahead.
I might be able to get one of these companies to give me a demo set, and I'm just going to send them to you. Probably better quality too.
Call your vendor and tell them, hey, I need to buy some stuff.
I've got this cat who is a doctor, refuses to vote. And
I did. Now, don't put words in my mouth. I didn't refuse to vote. I just chose there was nobody worth voting for this time. I have voted before.
Why don't you vote for yourself?
Well, I started to think about your pirate party comment like months ago. Start one of those up, but too much work.
When I went to the DMV, it wasn't a joke. She understood.
Really?
Yeah, I met somebody, a bartender. We went out with another couple for dinner and drinks. This is months ago, and
was it a bartender?
Yeah, yeah. And I was talking to it's actually Marsha's cousin that we were with and her husband, and I'm talking to him, and the girls are down a little bit, and my wife sent the bartender over to talk to me, and sure enough, man, he was interested in being a member of the pirate party. But I can't get those guys to respond to me to save a life, so I'm giving up on them. And now my new kick is Freemasonry. I'll find a way to implement change for the better. And if it ain't through politics like that, I'll do it through civic work and fundraising.
Sure.
And community building.
Why not?
Community gardens.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
We've talked about, we're looking at buying some more land around us, and we've talked about setting up a co-op gardens.
We have one here in Spring Hill. Mars, the chocolate company, like they make chocolate. They also make dog food right down the road, and they donated a bunch of land for a co-op and a dog park. So you could go over there, sign up, and maintain your little plot and get some free food. Well, it's pretty cool.
And since it's right next door to the dog park, you get free fertilizer too.
There you go.
I don't know if that's but I'm not that.
Oh, so nothing really else much going on.
Well,
election's over, and
the election's over. You didn't vote again, and I'm just not sure which is worse. Is it that Ken didn't vote, or that Floyd Mayweather is pulling out of a fight before it even starts?
Yeah,
dude, he wouldn't last 2 minutes. He wouldn't last 30 seconds with a guy kicking. No way.
I agree.
And I'm a huge Mayweather fan.
Well,
do what?
You're a Floyd Mayweather fan?
Yeah, I think I enjoy the guy. I met him 20 years ago in Vegas. Hung out in a penthouse suite. It was pretty fun. Charles Barkley was there.
He felt like a giant next to him.
Wait, did you catch that? He was hanging out in a penthouse suite. Wait, you got to tell us the story. How did you end?
So I worked for one of the biggest car companies in the world, and there's a new dealership opened up in in Las Vegas, and they asked me when my birthday was, and they knew I was a huge boxing nut. So, it was January, and in February they had asked my boss if they could bring me down, fly me, and treat me to a boxing fight. And I didn't know, so they sent me tickets. Said, "Hey, come down to Vegas." So I come down to Vegas, and I got picked up by a former referee whose name just escapes. Richard Steele. He did a bunch of Muhammad Ali fights and stuff in the 70s. He picked me up, took us around town, got to see Mike Tyson's house. Who are those two guys that do the White Tigers? They have all the tigers and stuff. I got to go.
Roy.
Yeah, I got to go see their house.
To be clear, because the tiger got a little angry at one of them.
Oh, it did? Is he
angry?
dead? I didn't hear this story.
Dude, this is like years ago, man. This isn't recent.
Dude, I did not know
I don't remember which one it was, but one of them basically was having an aneurysm on stage, and the tiger sensed it and
took advantage of it.
Well, the interpretation is that it was trying to like save him. But of course, being a tiger, the only way it really has to grab you is with its giant fang. And it grabbed him by the throat. So he didn't die, but he got pretty wrecked.
Wow.
That show doesn't exist anymore, man.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, this was 1999 or 2000. So anyway, we went all those houses, and then we went to Muhammad Ali's gym, and lo and behold, Layla Ali's in there, Roger Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather, and then we go to the fight that night. We got to go to Wolfgang Puck's restaurant opening and go to the fight. And after the fight, they were like, go to, I can't remember, the Mandalay Bay, and go up to the penthouse suite. And as I'm turning the corner to go to the elevator, this gigantic, humongous man runs into me and almost knocks me over. And I look up, and it's Charles Barkley. And he's like, "Oh, man. Here, man, let me help you up."
That was a good impression.
And so, dude, this guy's hands are gigantic. And I was like, "Hey, Mr. Barkley, this is my wife, Carrie. Where are you going?" He's like, "Oh, man, I'm just going up to the penthouse. You going too?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah." Go up there, and we had a party up there. It was awesome.
Did they take you into the club there?
We did not go to the club, but everybody pretty much was in the penthouse suite. And it was, a night there is like, what, probably $20,000. It was, we didn't stay the night there, but we partied there, and it was fun.
And so there's a couple penthouse suites up there. I've stayed in the one that overlooks the strip. So if you go down to the balcony, you can actually see down.
Yeah.
And the floor below that has the House of Blues Foundation Room Club, which is a private club. It's a pretty sweet place.
Yeah, that's right. They have the House of Blues in there. I forgot downstairs. Yeah, I remember walking by there.
When I worked at the first startup, we had a dude that worked there that was a member of the Foundation Rooms. Any House of Blues we ever went to, because we went to the one on Sunset Boulevard quite a bit in LA, we would go to the Foundation Room and warm up.
That's cool.
I saw Flogging Molly at the House of Blues on Sunset.
I bet that was good. No.
Yeah. It was good until we got tossed out. Well, that's not true. We didn't get tossed out. One of us got tossed out. And
so the rest went.
So you kind of had to babysit the guy, and it just went south from there.
Man, sounds like good times.
Knocked himself out on a parking meter. Down Sunset to another club of a particular type. And he was excited, started running and wasn't paying attention. He ran into a parking meter.
Knocked himself out cold.
Yeah. And we finally got back up, and I don't know any more clear-headed, because obviously he wasn't in a good state of mind at that point, because he started a fight at the House of Blues. That's why he got tossed, which involved me, but not me. It's a crazy story. And there was a homeless dude on the curb, of course, which isn't uncommon in that area, and basically just handed the guy's whole wallet.
Wow.
So then we had to stop by an ATM and get him cash because of the nature of the club we were going into. And somehow the person that he ended up in the back room with got a hold of his debit card.
Oh, no.
And dude, this night just went.
It just went downhill.
Here, though. So Ken is a huge Floyd Mayweather fan who pulls out of stuff. And Ken not wanting to do his duty as a citizen.
Oh, jeez.
Pulls out of voting. I'm seeing a trend. This is probably why he likes Floyd Mayweather. Constantly does stuff, and He doesn't want to go up against like Pacquiao when Pacquiao was closer to his prime.
Right.
Dodges the fights. That's.
I wonder if there's a correlation between people that wear AirPods and don't vote and like
cowards.
Yeah,
could be.
Oh, God. What did you guys wake up on the wrong side of the bed this morning? Like, did someone pee in your Cheerios or something? Like, did y'all drink too much last night, or is there like tons of malware at this company or something?
I didn't have a drop, man.
Nothing last night. The night.
Well, yeah.
Man, gosh.
Well, I haven't had a chance to chat with you in a couple of weeks. So I've and all this stuff just is I didn't have to even prepare the material. You make it easy.
Yeah, no, this isn't rehearsed in any way, shape, or form, people. In case any of our viewers suspect that this is scripted,
oh no,
I can't even script opening up the Hangout session.
They don't really make it easy to do.
It's still cumbersome. They have this beta for the Creator Studio to manage everything, and it's worse than what exists now, in my opinion.
So this was. Did you read about Floyd Mayweather pulling out, Ken?
I did see that headline yesterday.
This is what was to me, and I'm curious to your opinion because I already, Ninja and I talked about it yesterday. But he said he was ambushed over there with this, and he didn't want to say anything. But now that he's on U.S. soil, he feels safe to openly talk about it.
I mean, come on, let's be honest. All this stuff is just show to build it up.
Well, the Japanese have a history of getting boxers over there under one pretense and then surprising them with a non-boxing fight. And we know, if you look even at the history of Pride or Risen now, they still do it. They love like gross mismatch fights. Little dudes against giant dudes, old women against young women, crazy stuff, man. They love it.
I would like to go to one of those fights.
I've never been to one of those.
A big versus a small?
The only live fights I've been to were UFC events.
Yeah.
So you've never been to a off the street like fight club?
No.
I have.
I mean,
it's pretty awesome. A real cage fight with chain link fence was nuts.
We used to have at the county fair the Tough Man contest.
So I guess, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you ever enter one?
No, because they stopped having by the time I was at a point where I thought I could do it.
Actually do it.
Yeah.
Dan?
I've been in front of fights, not necessarily sanctioned, in my youth.
Dan couldn't beat himself out of a wet paper bag, so.
I've been around some big street brawls, though, like in downtown LA.
The types that make you sick in your stomach watching them. Oof.
The kind where, like, I got to find a corner to hide in because if I get caught up in this melee, it ain't going to be pretty for anybody.
No.
Like trash being thrown, people taking their belts off and whip. I mean, crazy. Crazy.
Dude, that's nuts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's typically why I stay away from places like that, to be honest with you. I just don't enjoy it.
See, martial arts competitions, you don't have to really worry about that.
Yeah, I did some Taekwondo stuff when I was younger.
I did too.
In my late teens, early 20s, after I got out of powerlifting.
My last competition would have been, let's see, I was 20.
You were Taekwondo, Dan?
No, Kung Fu.
Kung Fu?
Yeah.
Do they do belts in there too?
It depends. So some places, so they'll give you one if you're going to a tournament, but so traditional Chinese martial arts, you're either beginner, intermediate, advanced, essentially junior teacher, senior teacher, and then teacher. So in some, it was you would have a belt because that's what Americans pretty much deal with. Others, it was like that. So in my Jiaoda, they did they're traditional, but if you went to a tournament, they basically said, all right, here's the color belt you're going to use for this. So if you put it into perspective, beginner is white. If we're going by, like, say, Taekwondo, so to speak, white, green, and
don't they do the whole gi as the color in Kung Fu?
They will. And because, well, it depends. Like everything depends on the style, whether or not it was Northern Shaolin, Southern Shaolin.
Oh, there's a lot of aspects to it. I did not know all this.
Yeah, it just depends. So, and now when you go to do if you were doing forms or weapons or something like that, now everything's more of like an outfit, and you don't really wear the belt or the sash, as they would call it. But when you would spar in the sparring competitions, then you would have a belt. And so typically, like a beginner is like white, green, blue, or purple, depending on which way you want to go. And then your intermediate is could be whichever, in terms of the opposite, because I don't remember, blue or purple, brown, and I don't know what the other one come after, because in traditional it's just white, green, brown, red, black. And the whole reason for those colors, in at least the way it did it when I first started off with Japanese systems, it was you're white because you're pure. Your belt turns yellow due to the amount of hard work and sweat that would come in. Your belt turned yellow. Now you're starting getting good enough, but you're in over your head and you fall down a lot, and now you have grass stains on your belt. All of the colors meld together.
Really? That's what that is?
And it's brown.
I had no idea.
Then you're good enough to draw blood, and now you have got blood to the belt. Now you combine all these colors and it's black. And then really your real learning starts once you become a black belt. Because everything else was just many people don't understand that a black belt essentially means you have mastered all of the basic techniques. And that's it.
That's pretty much the same explanation I understood too. You know what I'm surprised by, man? And I was looking into this in North Carolina, is as important as folk wrestling is, particularly in the Midwest and in the South, there's like nowhere to go as an adult and wrestle. Like I found a place not far from me that is like an open wrestling facility.
You're in North Carolina. I would have thought they would have quite a bit.
They have it, but it's for high school and younger only.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought maybe they have like an open session for an adult, because I would love to get back into wrestling.
No such thing, huh?
Yeah, just as because I did it in junior high and a little bit of high school until I hurt my knee. It's great exercise. It's just completely dominated now, particularly by Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like you can find,
they're everywhere.
Yeah, but you can't find like traditional American folk wrestling.
That's interesting because, well, I wonder what's that cat's name that just came over to the UFC?
Ben Askren.
Yeah, so he's talking about doing wrestling the tournaments right now for adults. So there's got to be a place where they're training.
I don't know, man. And then
maybe they're all in Oklahoma. That's what it seems to be.
It depends on what system it is. So, like, if you want to do Greco-Roman or freestyle, that's completely different than folk wrestling.
Oh,
I mean, the only thing that's similar is your singlet and your wrestling shoes. And that's it. The techniques, how you score points, all that stuff is massively different.
Yeah, I don't know too much about.
So, like in the Olympics, it's Greco-Roman and freestyle. They don't have folk wrestling. Folk wrestling is what you have in like high school. That's folk wrestling.
Yeah, in Oklahoma, in high school, wrestling was really, really taken very seriously. I mean, not on the par of football, but you know, I mean, Oklahoma State is one of the top wrestling schools in the nation. So,
yeah.
And I saw, hey, speaking of which, did you see Cormier? They asked him in a press conference if he wanted to fight John Jones again, and he's like, "Nah, we don't need a third fight."
Well, of course not. He was in 3 losses on his record.
I know. But I do like that Ben Askren kid. He can fight.
Maybe.
He's very good.
Maybe.
You think he'll have a tougher time in UFC?
It's certainly tougher competition. There's no doubt about that.
This is the thing about Ben Askren. Okay, there's zero doubt about his wrestling capability. I mean, he was an NCAA collegiate wrestling champion. So,
and he made the Olympic team.
Yeah. So I don't have any doubts about that. I like his personality. I think it's kind of funny. Dana White still has him blocked on Twitter, which is hilarious. He did literally in the middle of the press conference. He's like, I don't know. He used to have me blocked. Let's check, see if I'm blocked. I can multitask. He's like, yep, I'm still blocked. So, I mean, he says the right things. Look, give me someone in the top 5. So, and the one person, the guy that I gave him, he's like, that's the one person I didn't want. He believes the person because it's Who did they give him? Is it Condit?
Oh, Carlos Condit.
I don't know if it was him.
I don't think so. It was somebody else. I don't remember who now.
I have to go back.
That tells you how much I care.
Yeah. Well, it was just interesting because he said the one person they gave him is a person who was supposed to fight Nate Diaz this year recently, and Diaz pulled out.
Was that Poirier? I don't remember.
I don't know. All right. Anyway, he said that's the one person they gave me is the one person has the best chance of beating me because he's got decent wrestling and he's a good striker. And then he was talking stuff. He's like, Connor doesn't want me because I essentially emasculate any person in there because I can hold you down and continue to punch you and there's nothing you can do. Which is at least a lot better than what Nurmagomedov does. He just kind of holds you down. He doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see who he's going to fight next too.
Well, I think I'd like to see him actually fight someone.
Yeah.
Ben Askren is a reincarnation of the classic Matt Hughes wrestler brawler style.
Yeah,
man, I really liked him.
And
Matt
so
Hughes.
MMA typically follows these cycles where certain styles or certain techniques come through, people have success with it, and then a couple of people unlock that secret and beat them, and then that becomes dominant, and then it keeps going around and around and around. So it'll be interesting to see if that classic wrestler brawler style comes back, because it clearly is like with Khabib.
Yeah. Well, the difference is with Khabib, he doesn't. I don't think he really does anything to you. I mean, he does it against some weak competition, but he didn't do any damage to McGregor on the ground.
I don't disagree, but it's essentially.
But do you agree?
No, I agree with the qualification, which is what I'm going to give you right now.
Well, you said I don't disagree, so I was just curious.
And so the part I agree with is that yes, he didn't necessarily do exorbitant amounts of damage, but if you look at like how Matt Hughes won fights, it was almost identical. It was more of a mauling than it was anything.
Yeah, well, what I remember Matt Hughes doing is literally, I mean, he didn't, once he got you on the ground, then he destroyed you. There was no just looking for position. He just went.
Yeah, he wailed.
And if you messed up, like GSP did, then he submitted you.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
People come variously, and GSP is no joke with his jiu-jitsu
or
just submissions.
He's certainly not now, yeah.
Right? And Matt Hughes, everyone underestimated his submission capabilities.
We'd have to look at one point, but I think Matt Hughes knocked more people out through slams than he did.
Oh, yeah, he probably did. Because they didn't really take into account that much with the slams at that point, because then he just got on top of you and just.
Well, he had that famous fight against Carlos Newton where Carlos Newton had him in a standing triangle.
Yeah.
And Hughes essentially went to sleep.
Him up.
Yeah. He lifted him up on top of the cage and then went to sleep and fell, and it knocked Carlos Newton out.
Yeah.
And somehow they decided that Matt Hughes was the winner because of that. It was a little controversial, but.
But Matt Hughes I thought was pretty exciting. GSP in the beginning was exciting, and then he got extremely timid after he lost to Matt Serra.
Oh man, yeah, you want to talk about a bulldog? That guy had like no neck, ripped. Ooh, Matt Serra.
He got lucky one time. The whole how he fought GSP in the first place is because he went on the UFC Fighter, which was, hey, all the people who suck, we're going to get you all together, and whichever one of you sucks the least, you'll get an opportunity to fight GSP. Yeah. Well, Matt Serra sucked the least out of that group, and he got lucky. He clipped GSP, but then the next time when GSP fought him, he destroyed him.
Yeah.
Do you think GSP is going to fight again?
Yeah, he will.
I don't know. He's been off for a while, hasn't he? A few years now?
No, it's not even been a year yet. Or maybe it has been.
Not been a year?
He last fought Michael Bisping.
That's right.
That fight might have been in January of 18.
So it's been a little over a year and a half. Yeah.
And it probably did some damage to him because he had to put on weight, and all of a sudden it completely messed up his intestines.
His game.
Yeah.
Like he had colitis or something like that.
No, he got serious health issues.
Yeah. Going back to what you said earlier, though, with the ground and pound, I remember the first UFCs coming out that when Royce Gracie, and that era of grappling took off, and there was less punching, and I think now it's gone back to more punching and wrestling, and I think people are more inclined to watch UFC than they would have been with Royce Gracie.
Well, with Hoist Gracie, it was so you only really had him that was a big grappler. I mean, you had Dan the Beast Severin.
Dan Severin, yeah.
You know, those kind of cats. I mean, they would beat you up. But that whole aspect with Gracie is that it was the first time you actually really saw in somewhat mainstream someone being able to do damage from their back.
Well, and remember, Hoist Gracie beat Dan Severin in a super fight with a triangle.
Yeah.
And nobody knew what that was. They didn't understand how he won.
Yeah.
But so
it's been a long time.
Not only has the sport evolved massively, but the public's understanding of how to watch the sport has evolved massively.
Yeah. They don't, you know, I enjoy seeing like with two people that can truly grapple is just as exciting to me as to watching Conor McGregor, someone try to stand with Conor McGregor.
I like watching some of the jiu-jitsu tournaments, man.
Yeah,
there's some really good ones now. Chael Sonnen has a jiu-jitsu fight league or something. Eddie Bravo has a really exciting one. There's a new one where they take teams and like, so remember Sakuraba from Pride? He has a team and they what it is you start with the lightest dude. Whoever wins stays, and the next weight class from the other team comes in and makes
That is awesome.
It is awesome to watch. There's one where they allow like open hand slaps, like old school.
Like this? Just open head slap?
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Like Boss Rutan, and when he was fighting in Japan.
Oh man, I totally forgot about that guy.
No clue.
Man, I can't think of the name now. It's actually a Portuguese name for the type of fights. Anyway, yeah, man, it's fun to watch.
Interesting.
But anyway, I'm hungry. Right. I'm hungry.
Yeah, time to get some food.
That sucks. I've got a year physical today. No eating until 1 o'clock, and I've got my appointment at 1. My doctor canceled on me twice.
Because I mean, it wasn't because you were out having to vote.
That's it. I'm out of here. I've got a $25 gift card to Apple. I'm gonna go buy me some headphones. That's all there is to it. Just so I don't have to hear Dan give me any more crap. That's just one less thing I have to hear during the week.
All right, Ken.
Good to hear from you guys.
I don't even know what to say. That's episode
all right.
5.
We're done. Peace.
Later,
see you guys.
Bye.